Hello there, and welcome to this holistic yoga video where we're going to have a little think about fear of moving. So it's very common when there's been a lot of pain to feel as if moving is going to cause some problem, and then it can limit our sense of trust in doing the classes and moving, and it can stop us from doing as much yoga practice as we might like to do. So the fear of moving, it's understandable because when the body's injured, it actually shuts down the motor control to those areas that are injured. So moving becomes a bit more difficult in the areas that have been injured. And the reason for that is that the body doesn't know what type of injury it is. If it's a broken bone or if some tissues have been damaged in a physical way, then it makes sense to shut down the area and to wait for it to heal before you start moving again. So that's kind of a part of the way the body works. It's understandable. However, if we have chronic pain and we stop moving, then we're going to cause more pain. So that's really, really important that we get out of this cycle of not moving or being afraid to move. So one way that you can do this is to reassure yourself that you don't have to move if you don't want to move. So if you get yourself to the mat and you work with breathing, you work with creating a sense of balance by lying on the floor or being still in the various movements and positions that we get into, and you can do the movement in your mind. So by doing the movement in your mind, imagining the movement, you're carving out the neural pathways from your brain to those muscle fibers, but you're not actually moving the muscle fibers, so you can't really do much harm. However, you're creating more of a connection between your brain and those muscles that might have shut down because of the injury, and therefore you're gradually building up that nervous communication. So the more you do that, the more when you do move, you'll have all the muscle fibers working in balance, or more of the muscle fibers working in balance, and it will feel safer and more solid and more comfortable to you. So remember, you can do imaginary movement if you have a fear of moving. That's really important because you want to feel comfortable and happy about doing your movement. Another thing that you can do is simply lie there and breathe. And that's really, really helpful because breath is a natural pain reliever, as anyone who's given birth will know. Hopefully you were able to use your breath, and particularly the exhalation. So the exhalation is something that pushes us into the parasympathetic part of our nervous system. So it's the rest and digest, briefly, it's the rest and digest and relax and restore part of our nervous system. And we're more likely to repair the muscles and the tissues when we're in this part of our nervous system. So even if you're just lying there breathing, you're doing a lot of good, and you're bringing down inflammation, you're helping your body cope with the pain because you're focusing on your breath, and it's much better than sitting on your sofa and watching Netflix. So don't miss your yoga classes, even if you feel like it's a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure whether that's right for me or not. There might be a very unconscious thought that. So just notice for yourself, if you're skipping a few classes or not practicing as much as you like, is it because you unconsciously fear the movement? And reassure yourself that you don't have to move, that you only need to move when it feels really comfortable and really good for you, and that you can do other things like breathe and rest and relax instead.